Seek the quickening! Inescapable! Over to quickly! Another!
Hello and welcome, Exiles, to the day 2 of the Incinerate Hierophant update. Today we've made a lot of progress. Of course, I'm recording this now a day after. This is the progress I got to basically last night, and then today I was doing Easter with the family, and just now I got a chance to record this, so just keep in mind this is day 2 for me, even though it might be day 3 for a lot of you. Okay, so what do we got here? The updates we got is we got Malachai's Loop in combination with Toolfall. I basically, the first divine I dropped, I spent it on getting a Blessing of Tool. As far as I can tell, blessings are way rarer, so getting the upgraded version of these items is a bit more expensive than I would have expected, but we got it. What does Toolfall get us? Well, basically what we're doing is we have eight maximum power charges, but we get 7 minimum, and essentially what happens is whenever we generate one power charge, Malachai's Loop says, you hit full, I'm going to delete your power charges. And it deletes all the power charges down to 7 because that's our minimum. And every time it does that, Toolfall generates a Frenzy Charge. So we have Frenzy Charge generation via Toolfalls, so we get 8 Frenzy Charges. And then we have minimum power charges from essentially Hierophant, the minimum charge here, and then we have +1 minimum on each of our rings. So that's 7 minimum power charges. Then we also have on our gear 5% block per power charge, so we get 35 block here. Now with the block nodes and this block, we're actually to 75 spell block. We also are getting 16% damage per power charge, and even cooler, I have to show you one of my things I'm most excited about is I actually got a new Crucible mod on my Malachai's Loop, and this is going to be a little bit disgusting. 15% damage per endurance, frenzy, and power. I have 21 charges. That mod alone is giving my character 315% damage. If you're wondering how to get this mod or how to craft on the Crucible, well, quite simply put, you use the new geode system. And I'm probably going to make a separate video on these specifically because these are very good for crafting. Right now, the Crucible mechanic is pretty much crazy difficulty scaling. Hopefully they tone it back. It's very hard to gauge, and you just end up getting raffle stomped half the time if you charge it to full. And it's hard to gauge how close you are to full because the meter, point is, the initial mechanic, very rough around the edges. I'm not defending it, but the mechanic afterwards, aka the forge and making cool gear, it's overpowered. It's really overpowered. Basically, what you want to do is you look for specific mods you care about. You spec out the tree for the mod you care about, and then the base you have where you don't care about the mods on the base, you want to scour off those mods, and then there is a special version of this that allows you to combine onto unique items, or you can add trees to unique items. I think you have to do that first. You'll see it on, I think on one of these, yeah, right here. You'll see the first line of this, or the second line. It says, contains a furnace that adds a Crucible passive tree to uncorrupted unique items. So basically what you can do is, you can take a Malachai's Loop, you can throw a random tree on it, you can scour off the first mod if you don't like it, or if the tree's not good, scour off the mods. If it's a good tree, maybe just use it. But you scour off the tree, essentially, and then what you do is you get, there is basically a Giga Primeval Remnant. I forget what it's called, but basically it's the higher level zone. It's the more expensive version that's like 50C or 60C on trade, but it actually allows you to combine a rare item of the same base, as in like a shield with a shield. I don't think it actually specifies. I know in the preview they said the unique items were going to be specifically unique with unique, but I believe they might have walked that back because it actually works to do a rare with unique, aka you can get some really Giga Chad rare mods on some item you care about. So for example, I was combining a bunch of shields until I got the damage mod here with some other mods I liked, like life mod, and I ended up getting the life mod as well. I don't care about these other mods as much, but I got the most important mod, which is what I cared about. Point is, you combine some shields until you get the thing you want, and then you try to then combine that with a Malachai's Loop with a scoured off tree, and you have decent odds of getting your specced out nodes again on the shield, and that is Giga helping our damage. That's a big boost we got here. We also have Badge of the Brotherhood. That way, when we have mods that say -2 maximum endurance, frenzy, and power, really, when you have minus a frenzy, it doesn't matter because Badge ignores your minus maximum frenzy. It only cares about your maximum power. So as long as you're pushing the power charges up, you won't lose your maximum frenzy. So this is only a half quasi bad mod to get. And then it gives you a whole lot of damage in return. Now, on top of that, I also have the special Incinerate node, and I have to say, I highly recommend you steer clear of this. It's so actually bait. First of all, not inflicting elemental ailments, very, very big downside. A lot of our big damage we're about to get is going to be Secrets of Suffering to enable Brittle and Scorch, because we have a Trinity set up with Fire and Cold, and this completely negates our ability to do that. Not only that, is even if I didn't have Brittle and Scorch, I don't think I'd want to give up Freeze. Freeze is a very powerful ailment, so is Chill. This is a huge downside, but not only does it have that downside, it also has the downside of this 0.2 second cooldown, which I'll show you a bit what that looks like. I have a tree with this spec'd out because I tested it out to see what this was like before I ended up getting it on something. And it ramps faster. Like initially, you get the stacks faster, right? You get the first 2 minimum stages, that feels great. But the problem is I start casting and I go, and if I try to cast really fast right afterwards, and I have my right click down, you notice my character's not casting. It doesn't know, like, I need to re-click it. And I don't have the human reaction necessary to notice fast enough to re-click to start my character to damage an enemy to save myself. In a lot of scenarios, it ends up just getting you killed. There's also the scenario where you can get like stunned out of a cast and then still have to lift up your finger and recast, and it's like, it is super awkward. I think ultimately if it was just the cooldown downside, I would probably still use it because I could maybe get used to playing it. But if you have the cannot inflict ailments on top of that cooldown downside, it's way too big of a downside. Even though I have it on my shield and it's like, that's exactly the mod for my skill, I still don't want to pick it up because it is way too big of a downside. So I actually recommend steering clear of this. Don't try to get this on your shield. I mean, you can test it out for yourself and see what you think, but my playing with it says not worth it. It clears a bit faster with a significant downside. All right, what else do we have on our character? We also got ourselves a setup for low life. This is a big tree change we made. We basically swapped out of this area here and all the fire specific nodes, and we went for a long overarching pass here to go down to low life along with leech and instant leech. So we have leech from our gloves. Okay, I don't have leech from my gloves. I have leech from Doriana's lessons. Eventually I'm going to get leech from my gloves, and then I can upgrade this cluster to spell cluster and get arcane surge effect, but that's down the road. We'll get that eventually. Basically, instant leech with both energy and life leech is actually pretty good, especially when you're a skill like Incinerate where you hit very, very fast. You have a fast cast rate. That instant leech procs a lot, and it's actually a lot of our sustain. It was a very big upgrade change for us to make. And then on top of that, we also went for 1 vast power. Right now we have 7 power charges. This is 21% AoE. With a bit more upgrades, I'm going to get to 8 minimum power charges, and this will go to 24% AoE. I'm probably going to do another vast power for another 24% AoE to help our clear, because AoEs I think is pretty important to make sure we're hitting a pretty wide area and getting some nice clear with the skill. So also on that note, we are using Vitality, Clarity, and Defiance banner, reserving our life pool in order to get sustain for our mana pool, because eventually I want to do the Militant Faith Jewel that changes out mana for armor. It doesn't actually trade ES. We still keep a decent amount of ES, but in return, it will give us a lot more armor and help our armor scaling a lot better, and maybe pair with Incandescent Heart better. I'm not sold on Incandescent Heart as a chess piece. I'm just using it for now. Also, I mentioned we are Trinity based. That is because we do a even amount of basically fire and cold. You'll see in the tooltip we have 4 to 6k cold and 5 to 8k cold. When you hit so often with this skill, it will eventually low roll on fire, high roll on cold, and you will hit the Trinity condition. Very consistent uptime. And on top of that, we have infused channeling, crit damage, crit strikes, and I just bought a 2120 Incinerate off trade for 6C. So there is some value to playing a skill that no one else wants to play, like getting your 2120 gem for very, very cheap. All right, anyways, I've talked enough. Let's go ahead and get in a showcase of what this looks like on Chimera Map. I'm excited for more upgrades I'm going to make on this character today. Hopefully tomorrow's showcase will continue to be a good one. I just got the T16s, just did my first 2 Watchstones. In the showcase, you would have seen a clear of Phoenix. That was my first time doing a Guardian, and it went pretty well. I think the damage on this character is pretty good. I was a little bit timid to do the fight, so I was kind of like playing it super safe. I don't know if I needed to play that safe, considering I'm overcapped by like 100 res. That being said, all this overcap I have Purity of Elements in the build. We are going to drop that for Zealotry, pick up even more damage. Right now, I haven't dropped it yet because I haven't done my Pantheon to get freeze immunity and reduced effective chill. Once I do that, I'll be pretty comfortable dropping Purity of Elements and move on to a damage aura, and maybe eventually we will also swap into a blessing setup. I'm not sure I'm going to do a blessing or not. We might have the potential because we are a Hierophant, and Sanctuary Thought makes fitting a blessing into your character quite a lot easier than on other characters. So let's go ahead and just showcase what this looks like when we're clearing a map. You'll notice we already have Trinity up in the corner there. That is that trifecta symbol. Essentially, I don't have any issues sustaining that, and for the most part, I don't foresee us having issues going forward, as long as we maintain our equal scaling of the two, and we don't start just randomly investing into only fire or only cold, so to speak. And then also another big upgrade we're going to do to this character is getting Brittle and Scorch, which I'm quite excited to do. I'm still poor, so I'm going to go back to pick up this currency. Don't make fun of me. I need this currency, dude. It's day 2. Okay, it's day 3 now of the league, and I'm still trying to get some currency, you know, still trying to fund future characters ideally. So hopefully you can understand my need to go back for that currency. I'm not fast AF. I can't afford to leave everything on the ground. I am just a meager man playing Incinerate, trying to fund his future build upgrades. That's all. What is that? No, don't need that. All in all, Incinerate, I'm not gonna lie, Incinerate has its rough edges. Obviously, going into this, I knew, and this is the reason I didn't recommend the skill itself, is it's a standstill channeling skill, right? It has the downsides that come with that. The upsides that come with it is, it kind of is a high DPS skill. I think I can stand in this. Yeah, I can mostly stand in that. It is a high damage skill. We can kind of shred, even though we have a 5-link and some level of potato gear. But the downside is you have to stand still to do damage, and that is generally in PoE a bad idea. So regardless, I'm still having fun with it. Hopefully the people who league started my Holy Relic build are having a decent amount of fun. I noticed from a lot of the questions if that I forgot to put in the links recommended before you get that initial 6-link. Oh no. Not today. Not today. Okay, maybe I shouldn't take that Fizz attack. I shouldn't tank that Fizz attack just yet. My armor is still a little bit questionable on this character. I think until I do the Militant Faith swap, our armor is still going to be a bit too weak, I believe. So I should probably be a little bit more careful with that, so to speak. But as I was saying, hopefully people doing the Holy Relic had a decent amount of fun and are enjoying it. I think that character is definitely a stronger character than this one per se, especially in a league start situation. And where is this cloud? Where is this cloud? I don't want to die to this. All right. As I was saying, people in the guide, I noticed now I didn't put in the recommended 6-link before you get what's it called? Empower and Enhance, and I've been telling people every time when they come and ask a question to get themselves a Predator and an increased crit strikes is what I'd recommend. Also, Empower right now, kind of on the cheap side, so I'd buy it as soon as you can because I think it's going to go up in price, and it's a really good improvement for the character altogether. Alright, so that's what it looks like doing a Maven Chimera. I don't know what the map mods were. There were unique boss, attack and cast speed, and damage. So obviously it was a bit more of an enhanced Chimera. One of the deadliest mods you can roll on a boss is to give them attack, damage, and attack speed as well. But still pretty cleanly, even though we were a little bit close to dying there a few times. But yeah, this is the update to the character. This is my day 2 progress. I would have got this video out sooner, but obviously I was doing stuff with family. And hopefully you guys like the progress of the video, or progress of the character. And I have plans to improve this further. Hopefully you can get a lot of it done today, and we'll see you guys for the day 3 update on the Incinerate Hierophant. Take care, Exiles, and peace out.